Good afternoon, everybody tuning in. I'm Jared Smith, play-by-play announcer for the Fresno Athletics, and we are back at you with this evening with the second of two games against the Colt 45's. It is a warm 93 degrees, but in the evening with that sun going down and the shade creeping in on the field, it's certainly feeling a lot better out there. So Athletics coming off of a wild 11-10 win last night that saw just back and forth, back and forth. Last two games for the Athletics, including Menlo Park Legends last week, they saw themselves get down 4-0 early and just continued to claw back, scoring runs by inning by inning by inning. Certainly tonight they'll be looking to just get straight to it and keep scoring runs consistently tonight, as opposed to having to play the comeback kids once again. Let's take a look through the Athletics lineup. Batting leadoff, per usual, shortstop George Smith. Batting second in his second game with the team is Tyson Miller, who's in center field. Had a fantastic game last night, going 4 for 4 with a triple, 2 RBIs, and scored 3 times. Batting third, Ethan Wood at first base. In the cleanup, Parker Cristall remains at DH. Batting fifth, the left fielder, Mikey Ramirez. Batting sixth, getting bumped up from eighth yesterday, is Brian Sanders II at third base, same as Tyson Miller, his second game with the team. Batting seventh and getting the start at catcher today is Luke Shaheen. Batting eighth, Julian Rodriguez is in right field, and finishing things off at ninth is the second baseman, Gabe Cazares. And let's move to the bump and see who's starting. It is the Stanislaus State product, Zach Geis. And here we go. Reading Colt 45's are due up to bat. First batter is coming up. Same batter that led off last night. It's Rogowski in center field. Pitch fouled back to the screen, 0-1. And Geis nails Rogowski right in the helmet. That's definitely got to rattle him up, but he's giving a thumbs up to the dugout, but coach is going to come out and check on him to make sure everything is okay. And I do notice that the score bug is not up right now, ladies and gentlemen, so I will work to get that back up for you. But that is a hit by pitch for Rogowski, and he will be on first base to lead things off here. Good to see he jogs down to the first base. He is all right, but looks like athletics trainer might just have a quick chat with him. All right, good to see. Looks to be okay. He will stay at first base, and that immediately brings up the shortstop Carroll for the Colt 45's. Geis' first pitch to him delayed, called strike one. A little bit of an interesting story with Zach Geis. I was chatting with him one time when he was marking down pitches for the pitching staff and clocking in the radar for miles per hour on each pitch. We'll finish up after this pitch. Chopped foul against Carroll's body. 0-2 is the count. Anyways, Geis wears his brim of his hat a little bit crooked, and I asked him why, and told him that it looked just like Fernando Rodney, and he just simply mentioned that it always seemed to wiggle its way in that place, and he was tired of fixing it, so he just left it that way as soon as he got to the ballpark. 0-2 pitch from Geis on the way. It's chopped towards Ethan Wood. He's going to go two, trying to get the double play. Throw over to first with Geis covering is safe. Almost had a 3-6-1 double play right there. but good job by Wood and company to get the lead runner out. So that will be a fielder's choice, and Carroll sets in at first base. And that'll bring up the first baseman, Mora, for the Colt 45's. Reading keeping their lineup pretty similar to last night, except it's pretty much just the top half of the lineup. After that, it is mixed up. We'll highlight those as we get through that part of the order. First pitch from Geis is off speed. That misses away 1-0. Geis' pitch on the way. Fastball that's in there for strike one. 1-1. Guys set, ready to come home. 1-1 on the way. Runner going down to second. Shaheen's throw beats him, but George Smith was unable to trap that ball in the glove. Great pop-up and throw by Shaheen there, but unable to get the runner going to second. So Carroll is in there with the stolen base. Two one is the count, says the umpire, as Geis gets set. Taking a look over at Carroll at second. Coming home, 2-1. Mora watches strike two go by. Count evens up 2-2. 2-2 on the way. Healthy secondary lead for the base runner. This is chopped up the middle to George Smith at shortstop. Throws it over to Ethan Wood. Good pick off the dirt, and that will retire Mora. So ground out for him to George Smith at short, but he does advance the runner Carroll to third, and it is now 2 outs. New batter stepping in is the DH Smith, batting in the same spot as he did yesterday, and that is cleanup. First pitch is fastball high and outside, ball one. One 0 pitch is chopped foul by Smith into the stands, 1-1. This pitch is chopped towards Ethan Wood at first, who fields it cleanly, runs to the bag with it himself, and gets Smith out. So ground out there to end the inning after a hit by pitch and a fielder's choice. There was two runners on base, not necessarily at the same time, but Colt 45's come up empty-handed here in the top of the first. So we head to the bottom of the first with the Athletics with their first at-bats, and I will certainly work to get that scoreboard up on the screen in between innings. All right, folks, we're back with George Smith leading things off here in the bottom of the first inning, and it does look like I got the scoreboard up. Thank goodness. First pitch is in there for ball one to George Smith. He's had a bit of a knack for getting leadoff base hits to start off the games here, and certainly the Athletics would like to keep that going. Second pitch is fouled into the stands, 1-1. And let's take a look at who's on the mound for the Reading Colt 45's. It is Sanchez. And we work our way around the infield. We got Sanchez pitching, McMillian at catcher, Moore at first, Green at second, Carroll at short, Marr at third, moving to the outfield, Likens in left field, Gowski in center field, and DeCanio, in right. Last pitch that was thrown while I was announcing the lineup was called strike 1-2. George Smith swings and misses at this one, so it is an opening strikeout for Sanchez. So with one down, here comes Tyson Miller, who has rapidly moved up the lineup from yesterday. He was closing things off as the 9-hole hitter, and now here he is batting second in the lineup after a tremendous 4-for-4 day that featured 3 singles, 1 triple, 2 RBIs, and he scored 3 times. First pitch is taken for strike. And just as a reminder, fans, if you want to keep up with all the action, I'll certainly do my best to update you on the stats during the game. But Miller chops this one. First baseman, he flips over to the pitcher. Did he beat it out? No, he didn't. Good cover by the pitcher there. Barely got Miller, and that is 2 outs quickly for the Athletics. But just quickly as a reminder, if you want to follow up with all the action, look at how players are doing during the game, bat and say 1 for 2, whatever it may be. Go to Game Changer, download the app, and sign up, and you will be able to follow along with the action. So getting back to the action on the field, there's 2 down now, and Ethan Wood steps into the batter's box. He's been a great hitter for the Athletics here so far this season. First pitch to him, hammered to the second baseman, who gets it on the hop, throws it to first, and that is 1 pitch, 1 out of George Smith, and 3 outs quickly. 3 up, 3 down for the Athletics, and Colt 45's are coming back up to hit in the top of the second. All right, top of the second, we're back with the Colt 45's up to bat, and it is the 5-hole hitter, second baseman, Green. He fouls this one back 0-1. Taking a look at Green yesterday, he was 1 for 5 and had 2 RBIs. Green hammers this one down the left field line. Is it fair? Yes, it is. That bounces off the wall. Ramirez plays it off the wall, but there's going to be no play at second base. But Green slides into second for some insurance, we'll call it. Make sure he is safe. So lead off double here for Green to get things going for the Colt 45's. Yeah. Taking our attention back to home plate, second batter of this inning is Marr. He hits this one past the second baseman. Cazares tries to fake that he was going to catch it and throw it back to second. That might have held up Green to not score on that one, but that is back-to-back hits for the 45's. Marr hits a single, Green goes to third, and there are now runners on the corner with no outs. So Lycan steps up to the plate, chomping at the bit, ready to get the first runs of the game for anybody, but certainly for Colt 45's to get the early advantage. First pitch to him is a slider that breaks in the dirt. Good block by Shaheen. Lost track of it, but it was just at the bottom of his feet. So 1-0 is the count now. Guys getting set. Pitch on the way, hammer right down the middle, over to Cazares at first. He cleans it or fields it cleanly, throws over to first, and that is an out, but it will be a sacrifice ground out for Likens, and he will get an RBI as he cashes in Green and the first run of this game, 1-0, Colt 45's. Cazares with a good play at second base, going with the only play that he did have and getting an out. First pitch to the new batter, DeCanio, is in the dirt, ball one. Canio did not play yesterday, so nothing to report in terms of how he might have done yesterday. Second pitch is yanked outside, ball two. Canio digs back in with 2-0 count. Guys get set, taking a gander over at the base runner at second. Now coming home with 2-0. Two-seamer that twists him up inside, called strike on the swing, 2-1. Guys comes home. This one swung on and missed. Back-to-back swing and misses. Getting back into this at bat is Geis, 2-2. Geis is 2-2, swung on and missed. Back-to-back swing and misses, and that is his first strikeout of the game. It's 2 outs now, and it is the 9-hole hitter for the Colt 45's. It is McMillian, the catcher, getting the start at catcher today over Handy. Geis goes for a pickoff back to second, but Marr slides back in there safely. Pitch on the way, chopped foul right in front of home plate. 0-1 is the count. Let me fix the scoreboard here. There is no runner on first, as that was a sacrifice round out that catched in green. Look to be a bender that gets in there, called strike 0-2. Geis is 0-2, yanks it past Shaheen, bounces way up at the backstop, and Shaheen finally corrals it, but that is going to be third base for Marr. So needless to say on that pitch, that is a ball. 1-2 is now the count, and Green settles in 90 feet away from being the second run of this game. Geis's 1-2 is a slider that breaks into the dirt. Definitely looks to be a good pitch, but good discipline by McMillian. Count is now 2-2. Geis coming home. Challenges him right down the pipe. It is grounded to George Smith at short. Throws it on the run to Ethan Wood. That is an out. Great play by the shortstop Smith, and that is the end of this inning. But back-to-back base hits to get things started for the Colt 45's results in the first run of the game, and they are up 1-0 as we head to the bottom of the second. All right, bottom of the second after Colt 45 strike first with one run there in the top of the second. Parker Cristall, the DH, is leading things off here for the Athletics. First pitch to him is down and in, ball one. Taking a look at Parker's stats, he's batting .500 with a .706 on base percentage, 1.406 OPS, and 4 RBIs. Definitely very productive season for him so far. Second pitch from Sanchez is yanked in the dirt, ball two. Hitters count here for Cristall, who has definitely shown a knack to get on base for the Athletics. Taking a look at that on base percentage, it is quite an impressive stat. This one's yanked down the third base line, but it is foul. 2-1. Cristal back in the batter's box. 2-1 count. Sanchez is set. Here's the pitch. It's down. Look to be a two-seamer. 3-1 in the count. Hitters count for Cristal. As we take a look at the on-deck circle, it is Mikey Ramirez, who himself has had a very good start to the season. Three and one pitch taken inside, ball four. Parker was pretty sure about it, but hesitated a little bit because he got rung up on a pitch very similar to that yesterday. But this time it results in a leadoff walk for him. And once again, finding ways to get on base. So as mentioned, the on-deck batter is Mikey Ramirez. Now he is digging into the batter's box with a runner at first base. Mikey is batting .462, .545 on base percentage, 1.084 OPS, and he has 9 RBIs. First pitch to him is low and outside, ball one. Interesting thing to note right now, the shadow line is in between the batter and the pitcher. It is right at the edge of the front of the pitcher's mound. Two-seamer catches the outside part of the plate. Strike one. Cristal jumping around a little bit at first base. Staying put, though. This one's yanked by the catcher, and Parker's easily going to have second base. Takes a strong lead off of second base, thinking about three, but he'll park it at second. So after that wild pitch, Cristal settles in at second base. Mikey Ramirez gets back in the batter's box with a 2-1 count. Pitch on the way looked to be a slider that is chopped slowly foul. Pitch on the way from Sanchez. Another curveball. This one's grounded to the shortstop. He's trying to make the throw to third base. Fantastic play. He fooled me in my camera direction. I was cutting cameras to check out first base, but aggressive play from the shortstop there to cut down Cristal at third base. He's tagged out. That'll go as a fielder's choice for Mikey Ramirez. He's at first base, but base runner is 90 feet further back for the Athletics to try and get in that first run of the game. All right, so that'll bring up Brian Sanders the second. It is his second game with the Athletics for this season, and first pitch to him in his first at-bat of the game is a ball. This one hammered foul. Oh, 1-1. Taking a look at Sanders' night last night in his first game, he did not record a hit, but he did get on base a couple times. Additionally, scored a run. Pitch to him is taken for a strike, 1-2. Sanchez having a brief conversation with his coach from the dugout. Now he settles in on the rubber. 1-2, the count for him. Taking a quick look at Mikey Ramirez over at first. He settles. Pitch on the way. Ramirez is on the run. That almost looked to be a pitch out there, but it went right over Sanders' head, and a wild throw from him does not beat out Mikey Ramirez. He's at second. Well, that was a wild sequence there. Sanders almost got nailed in the helmet, and then the catcher tried to make a quick snap throw and had to throw it right over Sanders' head. Still got there on target, but had no chance of getting Ramirez. And this one swung on and missed. Strike three. Second strikeout for Sanchez. Sanders is retired. So with 2 outs, here comes Luke Shaheen, the catcher for the Athletics. Shaheen is batting 188 for this season. On-base percentage numbers are a bit better, though, as this first pitch to him is blocked. Good block there from McMillian. Getting back to Shaheen's stats, the 364 on-base percentage, and he does have 7 RBIs. So although the batting average may be low, he has been a productive player in the lineup. Second pitch to him is ripped down third base. Is it fair? It is fair, plate umpire says. Mikey Ramirez is coming home. He's going to score easily. There he comes. Cash money for the Athletics, and Luke Shaheen gets himself an RBI single. All right, just this is in theme with the Athletics so far this season. When they get down, they come back. And just like that, they gave up 1 run in the top of the second. They score at least 1 for now in the bottom of the second. Here comes the 8-hole hitter, Julian Rodriguez. Had the day off yesterday, in today. He is batting 217 and has himself 3 RBIs on the year. First pitch to him, way up high, taking ball 1. One 0 pitch from Sanchez, taken 2-seamer on the inside corner, strike 1. Second baseman Kazara is on deck for the Athletics. Pitch Rodriguez taken, looked to be low in the zone, called strike 1-2. Sanchez pitch is popped foul. Does the first baseman have a play on it? Oh my goodness, he just spilled into the Athletics dugout. I saw that ball bounce off the back of the dugout, so that is not going to be an out, but a fantastic effort from Mora. Well, that's certainly the first time I've seen that this season, and it can make for some exciting plays, but certainly hope to not see that too much more, because risk of somebody getting hurt. Definitely don't want to see that, but completely understand these guys are competitors out here and giving it all for their team. We come back home for 1-2. That was a curveball that just misses. That looked like that could have clipped the top of the zone, but count evens up 2-2. Two pitch, curveball, fouled back against the screen. Count remains 2-2. On deck batter Gabe Cazares may have been in view there, was looking to get the ball back to the umpire, but called back to the on deck circle. This one spiked, gets past the catcher. There goes Shaheen down to second easily. So that is the second wild pitch of this inning for Sanchez, and both have resulted in a runner advancing. And with that wild pitch, the count is full, 3-2. Runner now in scoring position. This one spiked again. Catcher tried to put his body on the line. Great effort, but it still gets by him. Looked like it might have nailed him in the bicep. Yeah, he's shaking a little bit. So that is a walk for Rodriguez right there. And Luke Shaheen is at third base now. So runners on the corners after back-to-back wild pitches, and the 9-hole hitter Gabe Cazares is up. Well, with the free pass to Julian Rodriguez, perhaps Sanchez will settle in with a new batter here. See how competitive this first pitch is. Oh, it's spiked almost once again. A little bit higher this time, though, for the catcher to get his glove on the ball. Got to film it for McMillian there. He's putting his body on the line 3 pitches in a row, throwing it to try and block and save base runners advancing. Here's a much better pitch from Sanchez, called strike. 1-1 the count. We'll keep an eye on Rodriguez to see if he's going to try and take second base with it open. This one is way up high to Cazares, way up high and in, that is. He did check his swing, says the first base ump, 1-2, or 2-1. Cazares fouls this one straight back to the screen, 2-2. Tyson Miller fetching the foul ball. Back to the dugout. Cazares back into the batter's box. Sanchez with a quick peek over at Rodriguez at first. He's set now. 2-2 on the way. Slider. Cazares lays off. Full count. There is a free base open for Cazares to get on base with a walk here, but of course, Sanchez is not going to want that. Cazares offers it this one, fouls it straight back to the screen, 3-2 once again. George Smith making an appearance there on camera. He is the on-deck batter. We'll do it again on 3-2. Pitch on the way, high and inside. Jake Cazares check his swing. Umpire says no, he went around. So that will end the inning for the Athletics, leaving 2 runners on base, but they do strike back and tie this game back up 1-1. So we'll go to the top of the third with things tied up. All right, top of the third. We are back with Rogowski, top of the lineup hitter, batting first for the Colt 45's rather. First pitch from Geis called strike. Last time out, Rogowski was nailed in the helmet. Thankfully, he's okay and still good to go. Second pitch is yanked low and outside. 1-1. Look, be a slider that misses outside. 2-1. Oh, taking a look at Geis's pitch count, he is at 31 so far. Pitch in the dirt, 3-1. So 3-1 hitters count for Rogowski. Geis comes home, yanked low and outside. It's been a bit of a theme for both starting pitchers here so far today. So 2 at-bats and 2 bases for Rogowski. Here comes shortstop Carroll. Showing bunt, pulls it back. It is called ball 1-0. Carroll had a fielder's choice last time he was up, getting as far as third base, but Colt 45's were unable to cash him in that first inning. He just fouled that one back behind home plate, 1-1. Showing bunt once again, this one low and outside. He pulls it back just in time, 2-1. Taking a look once again around the stands. Solid crowd here tonight, just like last night. Interesting mixture of Colt 45 fans and Fresno Athletic fans. Certainly admire them for coming on down to watch their players. Runners on the way. This looks to be a hit run, and that's going to drop in for a base hit. There goes Rogowski to third base. Carroll is going to hold up at first base. So that is a single for him. Rogowski settles in at third, and the runners are now at the corners with no outs. First baseman Mora digging in. Last time he was up, grounded out to short. And just as a reminder, he was the person that dove into the Athletics dugout trying to make that great play. Great effort from him. Guys' first pitch is in the dirt. Shaheen picks it off the ground, 1-0. Words of encouragement coming from the Athletics dugout, just telling guys to relax and take a breath. Working from the stretch, Carroll fakes going to second, is still staying at first. That pitch is a ball to Mora, 2-0. Two-0 pitch called on the outside part of the plate. There goes Carroll. Never mind, faking another steal. Geis's pitch is called strike. Count evens up 2-2. So Carroll keeps putting on a pump fake over there at first base, looking like he's going to steal second, but we'll see if he does go for it here on this pitch. Yes, he does. There he goes. Mora rips this one down third base line, but it's called foul. So after that foul ball, Carroll goes back to first, and Mora will dig back in with yet again a 2-2 count. Runner on the way, call ball. This one lead. Oh, play coming home. He's called safe. That is the risk of throwing down to second base with runners on the corners. They went for it. George Smith caught it and had to make a quick snap throw back to home plate, but it is not in time. Rogowski scores off of that, and Carroll is safe, at second. So with that, it is full count to Mora. Here comes the payoff pitch, fouled right towards the Colt 45's dugout. Guys, resets, pitch coming home. This one's hit to the second baseman. Cazares bobbles it, but picks it up, throws it over to first, and that is an out. That is the first out of this inning. And over to third base goes Carroll, bringing up Smith. Now, to hitter, Wire Smith. This one kind of gets away from Shaheen. Runner is coming home, and Geis puts the tag on, but it is too late. Well, that certainly looked like a ball that Shaheen could have had, but it got away from him just enough, and runner takes advantage. That is Carroll. He scores, and that is the second run of this inning for the Colt 45's. So 3-1 is now the score, and bases are now empty. Pitch was, of course, a ball, so 1-0 is the count to the DH Smith. This one's chopped up the middle. Is it going to get through? Yes, it does. That is a base hit for him, and he'll settle in at first. Now batting for seven, Dylan. So taking a look at this inning so far, Rogowski leadoff walk, base hit for Carroll, and a couple of pitches. Oh, that one hits Green, and he is going to take first base. Runners on first and second, and that is going to prompt the Athletics to call time. Pitching coach Ethan going out to the mound to have a talk with his pitcher Geis. So getting back to what has happened so far in this inning, if you're just tuning in, Rogowski leadoff walk, Carroll single. That meant runners on the corners, second and third. Wild pitch gets by. Carroll or Rogowski scores, and also same thing happened for Carroll. So the 2 runs have cashed in on wild pitches. Mora has grounded out to second, Smith just got himself a single, and Green just hit by a pitch. Conference on the mound is over. Everybody returning back to their positions. And third baseman Marr is going to come up for his second at-bat of this game. First at-bat was a single for him, and he'll certainly look to replicate that, or even better, to get some more runs on the board here with only one out. Here we go, new batter for Geis after Coach Ethan comes out to settle him down. Looks like it worked at least on the first pitch. Strike one is the call. This one is yanked once again, and it hits the concrete behind the backstop. Shaheen trips over the on-deck circle, and both runners advance 90 feet right there. So it's been a tough outing here for Geis as he's plunked a couple people and has yanked some pitches that have gone to the backstop. Down is 1-1 now with runners at second and third. Pitch to Marr is a slider that breaks a little too low, 2-1. This one's chopped up the middle. Is George Smith going to get to it? Yes, he does. Throws on the run over to first. That is out number 2, but yet another run for the Colt 45's as Smith comes in to score from third. But the Athletics will certainly take it. That is an out, and they are 1 out away from being out of this so far 3-run inning. Green advances to third on that ground ball, and that will bring up Likens, left fielder. First pitch to him is down, ball 1. Slider too low, 2-0. Action going on in the Athletics bullpen. Be interesting to see if Geis gets out of this inning, if he'll come back for a third inning of work. This one's yanked once again. Here comes the runner from third, and rinse and repeat for the Colt 45's. That is the third run of this inning that has scored off of a passed ball and or a wild pitch. Three and 0 is the count to Likens. And that one is ball 4. So 5-1 is the score here. Likens gets first base. 4 runs have been scored in this inning, and there are 2 outs. Coach Wyatt Featherson is on the top step of the dugout. It does not look like he's going to make a pitching change quite yet, but my gut feeling says this is the last batter for Geis, whether he gets him out or not. First pitch down and away, ball 1 to DeCanio. One 0 pitch in there for a strike. 1-1. Geis is 1-1, swung on and missed 1-2. First time we've seen a swing and a miss here in a little while. Guys in the Athletics will certainly take another swing and miss or just an out, however they can get it without the runner at first scoring. 1-2 pitch chopped high in the air over Geis's head. George Smith fields it with his bare hand, throws it over to first, but the call is safe at first. That was a heck of a play by George Smith, but to no avail as Zacanio settles into first base with an infield single. Well, guy still stays in here as we go to McMillan, the catcher. First pitch swung on and missed. Very big lead over there at second base as McMillan fouls this one back 0-2. Pitchers count for Geis for the first time in quite a few batters looking to get out of this inning. Oh, 2 pitch fouled way out of play into the second deck. Oh, 2 remains the count. Geis sets, taking a look over at second base. Runner on the move from second base. Late throw down to second base. Cazares catches it, but the runner is in there safe. Never mind, he is out. Well, sorry about that missed call, folks, but that will bail the Athletics out of this situation here, as it was a delayed steal over there from the runner at first base, and he is out at second. So painfully, that inning ends for the Athletics, but of course, not painfully for the Colt 45's. They score 4 runs in that inning, courtesy of wild pitches and pass balls. And it is 5-1 Colt 45's. Athletics down big once again as we go to the bottom of the third. All right, bottom of the third, Athletics down big after a 4-run inning for the Colt 45's, and it is top of the lineup, George Smith batting for the Athletics, taking ball 1-0. And most certainly, if there's anybody that you want to lead the charge, it would be this guy, as he fouls this one 1-1. Smith certainly looking to spark something here for the Athletics and be the first base runner of this inning. Sanchez's 1-1 pitch is yanked on the ground outside 2-1. Two-one pitch hit off the pitcher's glove to the second baseman, throws over to first, and that is an out. Well, that might have been a fortunate bounce for the Colt 45's there, because if it got past the pitcher, it would have been a tough play for the shortstop to make. But the ever so classic 1-4-3 put out gets George Smith out, and that is out number one. So with that, here comes Tyson Miller, number 2 hitter in the lineup. He grounded to first base his first time up. He takes that one low and away, ball one. Second pitch hammered out to center field. Is that going to be caught? Yes, it is. Good contact there for Miller, but center fielder had an easy run to the ball, and that is out number 2. Tell you what, getting back to Miller for a second, with him being on the smaller side, it is impressive how much pop he has in his bat, even though that wasn't out right there. Anyways, after that fly out to center, Ethan Wood is the batter. First pitch to him is low and inside, ball one. Second pitch blasted down the first base line. It gets by the first baseman Homora. That's going to be extra bases for Ethan Wood. He's hustling to second base, and he slides in there safe. He's looking at third base after that ball gets by, but back up from the left fielder keeps him at second. So 2-out double there for Ethan Wood. He continues his strong season with another extra base hit. So after 2 quick outs, Ethan Wood is at second and looking to get driven in here by Parker Cristall, the DH, at bat. First pitch off speed, called strike. Second pitch, it clips Parker Cristall. That is another hit by pitch for him. I think he has 3 on the season off the top of my head. But either way, first base for him, runners on first and second, and a good opportunity here for the Athletics to claw back into this one. As Mikey Ramirez steps into the batter's box, first time up for him was a fielder's choice, but he ended up scoring on a Luke Shaheen single. Curveball in there, strike one to Ramirez. Sanchez takes a peek at Parker over at first, comes set. Here he comes with 0-1 pitch down low in the dirt, blocked by the catcher 1-1. Sanchez ready. So is Ramirez. Pitch on the way. 1-1 is popped up in the infield. Second baseman calls for it, and he does secure the catch. So a quick little 2-out potential rally is squashed by the Colt 45's, and they keep a goose egg on the board there for the Athletics in the bottom of the third. So we head to the top of the fourth with the Athletics down 5-1. All right, top of the fourth. Colt 45's up to bat after their 4-run inning in the third. And pitcher is still Zach Geis for the Athletics, but there has been a lot of activity in that bullpen. First pitch there was swung on and fouled straight back to the screen, 0-1. The leadoff batter this inning is McMillian, as he was the batter that was up to bat when the base runner got caught stealing at second. He finds himself in an 0-2 hole with that called strike. The 0-2 pitch is swung on and missed in the dirt. Shaheen tags him for good measure, and that is a strikeout, out number 1 of this inning. Mark Anthony Harris. Well, scratch that, ladies and gentlemen. That was Rogowski that just striked out. My apologies. Got to keep a tidier scorebook going ahead. But anyways, the batter now is Carroll, and first pitch to him was ball 1. Second pitch, two-seamer down low, 2-0. This one's chopped up the middle. Who's going to get it? Cazares dives for it, but it gets into center field. Miller fields it, throws it in to George Smith. Another GB. So base hit there for Carroll, his second one of this evening, and first baseman Mora is up to bat. Mora 0 for 2 today with 2 groundouts, one being to short and one to second base. We watch the Athletics dugout as they are looking ready to potentially put a new pitcher in. This one bounces in the dirt. Shaheen's throw down to second. It is safe at second for Carroll. So now runner in scoring position for Mora. Pitch on the way on 1-0. This one's hammered to George Smith at shortstop. Throws it over to Ethan Wood for the first out of this inning. Scratch that. 2 outs in this inning. Forgot about Rogowski striking out. So 2 outs in this inning with another ground out to George Smith by Mora. Here comes the DH Smith. First pitch swung on and missed 0-1. Of note as well, Carroll advanced to third on that ground out. 0-1 pitch fouled into the seats, or not fouled into the conventional seats, but fouled into the bullpen seats. But either way, Mikey Ramirez didn't have a play on it. 0-2's the count. Guys' 0-2 is chopped at, caught. That one's called a foul ball, so we'll do it again. Hello. That was pretty interesting. It almost sounded like it fouled off of a piece of Shaheen's equipment and popped up in the air, but clearly that's not the case. This 0-2 pitch fouled back once again, and we will see the third 0-2 pitch of this at-bat. Another 0-2 pitch. This one swung on and missed as Geis challenged him high with the heat, and Smith swings through it and misses. So a much better inning for Geis after 3 not so good ones. He gets 2 strikeouts in that inning. There is a base hit, but no runs come across the plate. So goose egg for the Colt 45's in the top of the 4th. We go to the bottom of the 4th with the A's still looking to get back some runs. All right, we're back with the bottom of the 4th. Just a word of warning, we are having some Grizzlies staff come through right behind me where I'm announcing, so I may have to briefly stop announcing, but for now we are on. First pitch to Sanders there was a ball. This one is a ball as well, way inside, 2-0. Sanders is 0 for 1 today with a strikeout. This one's hammered out to left field, left center field, that is. That's a base hit, most likely extra bases. There goes Sanders to second base, and he is easily in there with a leadoff stand-up double. Athletics dugout fired up after that one. First hit for Sanders with this 2025 season with the Athletics. So Luke Shaheen looking to do it again here in the fourth inning. First time he was up, he cashed in Mikey Ramirez with an RBI single. First pitch yanked in the dirt by Sanchez, ball one. This pitch chopped up the middle. Pitcher tries to get it. He can't. Shortstop gets it. Throw over to first is in time for the out. Good play by the shortstop backing up the pitcher there. It was just a bit too high out of his reach, and he gets Shaheen out. But that moves Sanders over to third base. And with one out, here comes Julian Rodriguez looking to contribute. First pitch yanked in the dirt. Good block by McMillian, 1-0. Gabe Cazares is the on deck hitter for the Athletics, and then top of the lineup right after him. This 1-0 pitch is popped way, 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 way high around the pitcher's mound. Mora comes in from first base to catch it. That is 2 outs. Two quick outs for the Athletics after a leadoff double. Sanders still remains at third. And 9-hole hitter, second baseman Gabe Cazares is up to bat. Last time he was up, tried to check his swing, but couldn't and struck out in a full count. First pitch to him on the way. Slider gets him leaning and swinging, swing and a miss, 1-0. Second pitch to him, another slider. This time he holds up. First base ump says he went. It certainly didn't look like it from my angle, but I'm an announcer, not an umpire. So, anyways, it's 0-2. Not a hole a batter wants to be in, but he worked a full count last time as well. This one, a little jam shot, weakly hit towards the Athletics dugout, out of play. 0-2 is the count, 2 outs. Not a great situation for Cazares at the plate, but Athletics certainly would love for him to somehow cash in Sanders to try and claw back at this deficit. This one rings up Cazares. Strike three, looked to be low and inside. He is standing in the batter's box in disbelief, but that is the end of the inning. Leadoff double by Sanders is wasted. He's left on base. No run scored in the bottom of the fourth. Colt 45's coming up in the top of the fifth with a 4-run lead. Top of the fifth, Colt 45's batting, and it is going to be second baseman Green. There is a new pitcher on the mound for the Athletics. This one's hit out to left field. That's getting down for a base hit. Ramirez is on it, throws it into second base. Leadoff single for Green. The pitcher is Cal Noonan for the Fresno Athletics. Memory could serve me wrong, but I do believe this is his second appearance of the season thus far. He yanks this one low and inside. That's a ball. Taking a look here at my score sheet as this one's waved at swing and a miss by Mark. Anyways, looking at the score sheet here, this is 4 out of 5 innings for the Colt 45s that their leadoff batter has gotten on base. So good start for them, not so much for A's defensively. This one bounced in the dirt, good block by Shaheen. 2-1. And Marr gets yanked and emphatically throws the back bat towards the Colt 45's dugout. Runners on first and second here for the Colt 45s, and Likens, the left fielder, is digging in with no outs. This one fouled back off the top of the screen at home plate. 0-1 is the count.
You said the first one changed. I thought it was. I thought you were done. This was the second one I saw. You were done.
This pitch way outside. It is 1-1.
Piss me. I know. Piss me on. Never piss you.
Noonan taking a look at second base a couple times, comes home 1-1, low in the zone. 2-1 is the count for Likens. Likens does not have an official at bat actually because of a sacrifice RBI and a walk. Back picked by Shaheen over to first. Oh, that looked to be a good throw and tag, but Maher just gets back in there in time. Call on the pitch was a ball, so 3-1 is the count to Likens. Good hitter's count here with him having an ability to get some more runs here on the board for the Colt 45s. 3-1 pitch hit out to center field. Is that going to drop down? Yes, it is. It's in front of Miller. Base hit, and the runners hold station. They certainly thought that we might have seen Green go home on that, but he holds up at third. So now, with that single by Likens, bases are loaded and no outs. Three batters, three base runners here for Cal Noonan to start out his outing, and he is in a tough situation, but let's see what happens next as this pitch is low, ball one. This is to the right fielder, DeCanio. Noonan's second pitch is hit to shortstop George Smith. It gets through the 4-6 hole. Base hit. We got 2 runners coming in. Yes, we do. Throw off line. That scores Smith. That scores Green. And that is a 2 RBI single for DeCanio. And the Colt 45's are up big now, 7-1. Bottom of the lineup here for the Colt 45's, it is McMillian, the catcher. Here he comes with the pitch. It plunks him, and just like that, bases are loaded once again. I can't even remember how many hit by pitches we've seen in this game. That might just be 4 hit batters for the Colt 45's alone. Coach Ethan coming out to have a conversation with his lefty Cal Noonan as he finds himself in a bases loaded jam once again. Still no outs. So biggest deficit the Athletics have found themselves in this season is 5 runs in the Menlo Park game last week on a Saturday that was, but they played Comeback Kids, won 12-8 in that one, and they were also down 4 runs yesterday to the Colt 45's and stormed back, but they are digging themselves in a hole here for sure. 6-run deficit at minimum with bases loaded and no outs, and we are just about halfway through this game. The top of the lineup back up for the Colt 45's, it is Rogowski. He sends this one out to right field. Rodriguez makes the run on it, catches it. Here comes the throw home. Strong throw from him, but it gets by Shaheen. Here comes the runner home, and he is at the plate. Unbelievable. Wow, that was a wild play. So that is a double play on that one. Rodriguez catches it in right field. Strong throw by him, but gets by Shaheen to the backstop, and he ends up throwing it to Noonan at home. He makes the tag, and that is a very unconventional 9-2-1 double play right there. Yeah, correction from my bullpen associates right here. Shaheen was still at the plate. Noonan was backing up at home, so it was 9-2-1-2 double play. Second pitch of the at bat right there is called strike 1-1. Pitch looked to be a 2-seamer, catches the outside of the zone 1-2.
You're so fucking.
This one's hit out into shallow left field. Does George Smith have it? Yes, he does. And that is the end of this very short but interesting inning. So 2 runs come in to score for the Colt 45's, but it could have been a lot more. But that very interesting double play ends things, or ends the momentum at least for the Colt 45's. So they head to the bottom of the 5th inning, up 6. We are at the halfway point of this game. We will see if the Athletics can play comeback kids once again in this one. All right, back with the bottom of the fifth. I'll get that scoreboard updated right about now. Just had to share some real estate there with a Grizzlies employee going right behind me, as mentioned earlier. That first pitch to the leadoff batter of this inning and top of the lineup hitter for the Athletics, George Smith, is fouled off 0-1. Second pitch he sees is a curveball that misses outside. 1-1 is the count. Do have a new pitcher in the ball game. Let me go ahead and get that lineup card for the Colt 45's to report on who that is. This one's hammered to the shortstop, who scoops it off the ground, throws it to first baseman Mora, and it is the first out of this inning. Yeah. Here comes Tyson Miller, Mr. 4 for 4 yesterday for the Athletics. Today he is 0 for 2, looking to get his first hit or first base of the day. First pitch Miller sees is outside. It's called a strike, 0-1. Well, new pitcher in the game. I do not have a name for you. It shows NA on Game Center, but he is number 18 for those of you at home that are familiar with this Colts roster. 0-2 is the count to Miller here in the hole early in his at-bat. Here it comes, chopped over to the first base side. Second baseman has it, throws the ball away from the pitcher. It's going to get back to the backstop. Miller's going to easily have second base here. That was a bit chaotic there. You had the first baseman trying to go for it, but then the second baseman got it. Pitcher went to cover, but then second baseman had to make an off-kilter throw, and he threw it away. That will certainly be an error charge to the second baseman, Green, and Tyson Miller gets to second base thanks to that. Ethan Wood is the new batter, three-hole hitter for the Fresno Athletics. Today he has grounded to second base and had a single. Double, actually. First pitch to him, low, ball one. Second pitch, curveball, loops in there for a strike, 1-1. Third pitch of the at-bat for Wood, ball low, 2-1. Parker Cristall in the on-deck circle for the Athletics, the DH. Pitcher taking a couple looks at second, comes home to Wood, and he hits this foul out of play. Two and two count to Wood as he digs back into the batter's box. Sun is really starting to go down here, but that golden hour effect is in full display on those buildings out in left field. Pitch to Wood, chopped foul. 2-2 remains the count. This 2-2 pitch is hit down the right field line, but plenty foul against the screen. It looked to be off speed, didn't pop off the bat quite as hard as you would have thought, but still solid contact on that. Three foul balls in a row for Ethan Wood here. 2-2 remains the count. Pitcher sets, he's ready, looks over at Miller at second. Now twice, and he's going for the pickoff at second. Miller's in there easily, safe. Miller's on the run, and this one's foul, so he'll go back to second base. Make that 4 foul balls in a row for Ethan Wood, and that is the definition of staying alive. This one sails over the catcher's head. Miller's going to have third base easily. That is most certainly a wild pitch on that one. That looked to have been perhaps a foot and a half above the top of Ethan Wood's helmet. And Ethan Wood is most certainly a good-sized guy, fairly tall, so that was pretty high anyways. Full count now to him after Freddie Mercury was serenading the crowd. This one's fouled back into the second deck. Well, based off of a full count and 4 out of the 5 foul balls being with him having 2 strikes, I would have to conclude this is at least the 10th pitch of this at-bat. Anyways, long at-bat either way, eating the pitch count, but Ethan Wood wants a little more of that as he blasts that, a little more than that, I should say, but he won't get it. This one's caught by the center fielder. Here comes the run home. Throw is offline, nearly pegs Miller, actually. But he's in. That is a run for the Athletics' second run of this game. Sacrifice fly for Ethan Wood catches him in, and the deficit is now cut to 5. Two down, here's the DH, Parker Crystal. Oh, we got something interesting going on here, folks. Okay, so what just happened there is the Colt 45's coach told the pitcher to step off, told him to throw it home. They were going to appeal whether Tyson Miller touched home plate or not, and umpire ruled that he did, so run will still count. Well, after that brief timeout from this at-bat, here's the first pitch to Parker. He dribbles this down the first base line. Pitcher slides to get it. He tags him out. That was really interesting play there. Pitcher was in a vulnerable position, but ends up making the play. He is walking a bit slowly back to the dugout, so hopefully he's all right, but that is the end of the inning here for the Athletics on offense. Reading Colt 45's coach is claiming that Crystal threw an elbow in there as he was going to get tagged out. You can see it by his body language or body movements. So he's chatting with the umpires here. We'll see what potentially ends up happening there out of that situation. But it is the end of the bottom of the fifth here for the Athletics. Reading Colt 45's coming back up to bat, up 5. I'm going to get back on the mic here a little earlier than usual. I haven't seen an official signal about Parker Cristall being thrown out of this game, but Coach Wyatt Featherston looked not pleased when he was talking with the umpires there. So we will see what comes of this situation. But Colt 45's coach pleading with the umpires to get together after that awkward collision along the first base path. They did, and then they had a conversation with Coach Featherston. Don't know what the decision was they came up with, but I will get you that info as soon as I can. Either way, we move to the top of the 6th inning, and leadoff batter is Mora here for Colt 45's. That pitch misses for ball 1. Noonan gets a curveball to drop into the strike zone. This one bounces in the dirt. Shaheen blocks it, pops way up. That is another ball. And I just got word that Parker Cristall received a warning for that collision along the first base path, so he's not out of this game. Is this pitch from Noonan on the way, drops in for a strike. This one chopped foul by Mora. Spoils the payoff pitch 3-2. We'll do it again. Noonan with the 3-2 pitch again on the way. This one, emergency hack down on the ground. George Smith fields it. No, he doesn't. It was a very slow roller, and he had to try and scoop it up really quick, but was unable to. That will be ruled an infield single for Mora. So, as alluded to last inning, this theme continues for the Colt 45's as they now have 5 of their 6 leadoff batters reaching base to start things off in each inning. This pitch is down low and away, ball 1. Batter is the DH Smith. He slices this one down to left field. Does Mikey Ramirez have a play on it? Yes, he does. Catch in. Throw to Cazares at second base. So that is out number 1 for the DH Smith. Mora remains at first after that fly out to left field. Here comes the second baseman, Green. He is 2 for 3 today with a double, a single, and he's been hit by a pitch. This one is hammered out to left field. Does Mikey have a play on it? Jumps against the wall. Yes, he does. That is an out. Mora has to retreat back to first base. He did not tag up. Boy, off the bat, that looked like that had a chance of getting out of here, but the ballpark holds it just enough. And that is another fly out to left. Two outs, and here is Marr, the third baseman for the Colt 45's. His first pitch he sees swung on and missed 0-1. There goes Moore at second base. Shaheen throws it. Cazares can't get it. It dribbles out to the outfield, but Miller is there for the backup, and he is safe at second. Stolen base for Mora puts him in scoring position. 1-1 is the count to the third baseman, Marr, and there is two outs. Noonan still on the mound for the Athletics. One pitch, check swing, but it doesn't matter. Call on the pitch is a strike. 1-2. Noonan one pitch away from being out of this inning and putting up a much-needed goose egg for the Athletics. That looked to be a two-seamer that misses just high, 2-2. Decent height on that one, but it missed either high or outside, or perhaps both. Close call, but ball 2 it is. Two-two pitch, low and inside. Shaheen has to get down and dirty to block that one. Full count, 3-2. Here we go, another full count. We've had a lot of those in this game. Here we go. Pitch inside, low, ball 4, first base for Marr. So runners on first and second for the Colt 45's, looking to get some insurance runs with two outs here in the top of the sixth, and the batter is left fielder Likens. First pitch to him, chopped foul behind home plate. Oh, one pitch from Noonan, runners on the go. Shaheen holds it, wiser to it. There's been at least one, perhaps two runs scored for the Colt 45's that has resulted on a throw down to second base and the runner coming home to score. So that's Mora that advances to third. Marr stays put at first. Runners on the corners as that pitch is bounced in the dirt. 2-1 is the count for Likens. Looks to be a curveball in the dirt. 3-1 is the count. Hitters count for Likens here with two outs, runners on the corners. Noonan quickly gets set. Doesn't look at the runners, comes home, pitch up high, ball 4. Likens heads to first base. On to second goes Marr, and bases are loaded once again for the Colt 45's. So that is the second walk of this inning. Back-to-back walks, as a matter of fact, issued by Cal Noonan. The base is loaded here, but to the Athletics' benefit, 2 outs. Pitch on the outside part of the plate called strike, 0-1. Batter is DeCanio. Last time he was up, had a 2 RBI single, and he has an additional base hit as well. So 2 for 3 for him on the day. This one chopped to the third baseman, gets through into the outfield, base hit. That's going to score Mora. Here comes the other runner. Throw is offline, safe, and into third goes Likens. 2-run score on that RBI single from DeCanio, his second 2 RBI single of the day. And the Colt 45's extend this lead now 9-2.
I'll throw it.
Runner on the go. Shaheen does not throw it, so that is a free bag there for DeCanio. We're at the bottom of the lineup here for the Colt 45's. Catcher McMillan up to bat. He is 0 for 1 today. Ground out and hit by pitch. Believe 0 for 2, actually, but I am missing one of his at-bats in my scorebook, as alluded to earlier in this broadcast. Got to keep this scorebook a little more tidy. Either way, focusing back on the batter, 1-1 is the count to McMillan. This pitch is up high, 2-1. Noonan's 2-1 pitch in the dirt, 3-1 the count. Well, first base is open for McMillan in the event of a walk, but Athletics are certainly hoping that's not the case. This one's chopped to Cazares at second base. He backhands it, throws it over to first base, and this inning is over. 2 more runs in this inning for the Colt 45's, and they have extended their lead to 7 as we go to the bottom of the 6th. Athletics are searching for answers here before it gets too late and their first loss of the season. Mikey Ramirez digging into the batter's box, leading off this bottom of the 6th for the Athletics. Down big by 7. Looking for absolutely anything to spark this team again and get on base as the leadoff batter. Mikey is 0 for 2 today. First pitch to him, ball 1. One zero is hit up the middle. Is it going to get through the gap? Second baseman does snag it, but the throw is way late. That is an infield single for Mikey Ramirez, and something potentially to build off here for the Athletics. Ramirez settles in at first. Here comes Brian Sanders up to the plate. Last time he was up, had himself a double, but Athletics unable to cash him in. So 1 for 2 on the day for Sanders. First pitch taken, strike 1. Well, with such a big deficit later in the game for the Athletics, we'll see if they get pretty aggressive with the base running. And just as I say, that pitcher looks over at Mikey Ramirez. And Mikey fakes going. Catcher pops up real quick, thinking about a back pick, but no throw. 1-1. Pickoff attempt over at first base. Ramirez in there easily standing up. Two one pitch, swung on and missed on the outside part of the plate. 2-2. Long look at Ramirez at first. Pitcher gets set now. And here he comes, 2-2. And Sanders swings and misses through that one. Strikeout, second of the day for him. 1 out in this inning. So with that, here comes Luke Shaheen, the catcher for the Athletics. Ramirez on the move down to second. Throw gets in the outfield. He quickly pops up and goes to third. That was some very good base running from him there. He popped up so quick once he realized that ball was in the outfield. So he advances 2 bases right there on that. Stolen base, advances to third on an errant throw. First pitch of that at bat to Shaheen was a ball, and finally I was able to dig up the lineup for the Colt 45's. So the pitcher in question for the Colt 45's is Serta on the mound. This one is hit out to left field pretty well, but left fielder, is he going to get under it? Yes, he does. So that is a sacrifice fly for Shaheen, his second RBI of the day. So Athletics cut in 1 run right there. Bases are now unloaded, and coming up to the plate is Julian Rodriguez. Rodriguez 0 for 1 with a walk, and he popped out to the first baseman. First pitch of this new at-bat for him is called strike 0-1. This one looked to be some sort of cutter, but got away from the pitcher. 1-1 is the count. 1-1 pitch from Serta is a bender that drops into the strike zone. 1-2. Tries the curveball again, but this one it misses low and outside. Count will even up at 2-2. This pitch spiked in the ground. Count will go full. Bring the camera view home here for 3-2. Pitch on the way, chop to the shortstop. He fields it cleanly. Throw is on over to first in time to retire Rodriguez and this bottom of the 6th inning. So the Athletics do claw back a run, but it is most certainly not enough with limited innings to go. 3 innings left for the Athletics to get something done. We go to the top of the 7th, and the Colt 45's are still up big, 9-3.
Yeah, bro. Turn his head into a bobblehead.
All right, first pitch of the top of the 7th is taken for a ball. New pitcher on the mound. It is no longer Cal Noonan. New pitcher is Mason Medina. Breaking ball in the dirt, 2-0 is the count. This one chopped foul, 2-1. Medina is a local around here, grew up in the area, and currently is at Fresno City College. Two-one count, ball taken high, 3-1. So it is the top of the lineup for the Colt 45's. Rogowski, the center fielder. 3-1 the count to him. Pitch on the way. Called, strike, full count. Rogowski has been hit by a pitch, walked, struck out, and was a part of that very unique double play in the 5th inning. Chop towards George Smith at short. He picks it up, fires over to Ethan Wood at first, caught. And that will retire Rogowski. So one up, one down here so far for Medina. And here comes Carroll as the second batter of this inning. First pitch looked to be a curveball that misses outside, 1-0. Carroll is 2 for 4 today. Productive day at the plate for him. Pitch, fastball low, doesn't get the call, 2-0. Challenges him with a heater down the pipe. Foul tip into Shaheen's glove, 2-1. This one fouled into the stands, 2-2.
Oh,
2-2 pitch again, bounces in the dirt, gets past Shaheen, but no runners on base, so no worries there. But count is full for the batter Carroll. That one is chopped to the third baseman. Sanders scoops it up, throws it over to first base. 2 up, 2 down. First baseman Mora up to bat for Colt 45's. He is 1 for 4 today. Lots of ground outs, but his last at bat, he did have a single and stole a base. He takes first pitch in for a strike. Definitely looks like Medina is targeting that lower half of the strike zone so far. His second pitch, this time he does elevate that one. Looks to be a bit outside and high, but called strike. 1-2. Quickly 0-2 to Mora. Pitch on the way. Chops this one. Who's going to get it? Sanders? No, it's going to be George Smith. He makes a throw over to Ethan Wood, but it's well short. Good play from Ethan Wood to come up on that ball just to stop it from not taking a bad hop on him and being extra bases for Mora. So infield single for Mora, back-to-back singles for him in this game. And here comes the DH Smith. Smith skies this one into left field. Mikey Ramirez up on it, stops, catches it, and that will end this inning. So 1 hit in this inning, but solid outing there for Mason Medina. We'll see if he stays on the bump next inning, but he limits the score, still 9-3. A lot of work to do for the Athletics to get back into this one. All right, here is Gabe Cazares up to bat for the Athletics. He takes ball one. Tough day at the plate for him so far. 2 strikeouts, 1 swinging, 1 looking. Second pitch is called a ball 2-0. Third pitch in there, ball up. 3-0 is the count. There is a new pitcher into the game. That's going to be number 10, Bollerer. Bollerer, I heard from behind me. 4-pitch walk here for Cazares. And getting something started here for the Colt 45's. Getting something started for the Athletics, rather. So we rotate to the top of the lineup. George Smith coming up. George Smith normally, well, hold on a second. Shows bunt. Slider breaks in too hard on him, pulls it back, ball 1. Anyways, because was going to say George Smith is usually a reliable source as a base runner, hitter, whatever it may be, but he is still looking to get on base for the first time today. Buller's pitch hammered into right field, bounces off the right fielder. Cazares is late, but he's going to go now, and he is at third base. So that is a single for George Smith. He will park it at first. Cazares is at third base, and the Athletics have something cooking here in the bottom of the 7th. Here we go. Tyson Miller up to the plate, looking for his first hit of the day as well. First pitch to him called ball 1-0. Looked to be a curveball that hung up too high, couldn't break back down in the strike zone. 2-0 to Miller. Two 0 pitch to him, maybe a slider that time. That was outside. 3-0. With a big deficit here, you might imagine that Miller has a green light here, trying to create some action here. But he takes that one low, no green light on the ball. Ball 4, and bases are juiced for the Athletics. I heard time called. That comes from the Colt 45's dugout. See if we have a new pitcher or not, or if this is just a calm the nerves conference on top of the bump. In the meantime, with this conference, cheers going out for some members of the Fresno Fire Department that are in attendance today. Speaking of the fire department, earlier in the game, this is something that they will do for either Grizzlies games or athletics games, baseball, whatever it may be. If they do not have a call to respond to, they will be parked in left field where you can see the Gralifornia underneath that sign. There's an alley in between the left field bleachers and that building. They'll park their fire truck there and watch some baseball. And we certainly appreciate the work that they do. Ethan Wood is up to bat here. Ball 1 to him. does have himself a double today and a sacrifice fly to center field for an RBI as he takes that pitch for a strike, 1-1. Just a quick rundown of the base runners for the Athletics. Cazares at third, Smith at second, Miller at first. And here is 1-1 that's hammered out to right field. Did he get under it a little bit too much? Yes, he did. Looked like it might have been destined for the outfield over the wall, but that is a sacrifice fly. Cazares scores. So another sac fly there for Ethan Wood, and another run has been claimed back by the Athletics. Taking a look at the base paths, George Smith did advance to third on that fly ball, but Miller is still at first base. So it'll now be runners on the corners, 1 out, with Parker Cristall up to bat. Miller getting an early jump, but catcher doesn't even attempt to throw that one down to second base. So free bag there for Miller. Call on the pitch was a ball, 1-0 to Parker. Watches a curveball in for a strike, 1-1. Parker has walked, been hit by a pitch, and grounded out to the first baseman on that awkward play down the first base line. 1-1 pitch, watches another curveball that falls into the strike zone, 1-2. No call on that one. Fastball. That was low and outside. Looked like it might have been painted, but 2-2 is the call. You hear cheers from the Athletics dugout for good eye. You hear jeers from the Reading dugout and some fans that think that should have been strike 3. The count evens up, 2-2. Curveball swung on and missed, foul tip into the glove. So that is a strikeout. So with 2 down, it is going to be Mikey Ramirez. He does have a base hit today, and he scored twice. Curveball hit up the middle. It gets past the second baseman, Mikey Ramirez, with an emphatic bat flip there. And George Smith comes to score. So does Miller. So that is a 2-run RBI single for Mikey Ramirez. Yeah, as the PA announcer just said, clutch 2-out hit there for Mikey Ramirez to cash in 2 runs. So all of a sudden, that deficit is not looking as daunting as the Athletics are now only down by 3. New batter is Brian Sanders. He does have a double on the day. First pitch to him, taken low, ball 1. Fastball inside and up, 2-0. So as I've mentioned a couple times in this broadcast, the Athletics have certainly been comeback hits this season, but this would be a heck of an effort for them to do it here. This one is fouled into the first base seats. 2-1 now, the count with Sanders. Runner goes down is the throw. Mikey Ramirez, he is safe. That throw was close. Tag was close, but Ramirez gets in there just in time. Last pitch was a strike to Sanders, so 2-2 is the count, with a great opportunity to cut this deficit even more. Runner in scoring position now. Pitch on the way, pitch is down, taken for a ball, 3-2. Count full. Let's see if the pitcher goes with some hard stuff or some slow stuff. It is going to be hard stuff, and Sanders swings, foul tips it into the glove. That is the end of this inning. That is Sanders' third strikeout of this game. Inning done and dusted with the Athletics. Bottom of the seventh, season score 3 runs to cut the deficit to 3 runs. So definitely good progress there for the Athletics, but they still have a lot of work to do, not only scoring 3+ runs, but also holding the Colt 45's. We'll head to the bottom of the 8th. Mason Medina is still the pitcher on the mound. This one is popped up in the foul ground. Shaheen looking for it. It bounces in between him and Ethan Wood. So 0-1 is the count. Definitely would have been an easier play for the first baseman there, but Shaheen was dead set on getting it, but falls in between them. This one is fouled back to the screen, 0-2 to the batter, and that is Green. This pitch is popped into the outfield. George Smith is on the run, so is Miller, but it's going to be George Smith that catches that one. So 1 up, 1 down here, and coming up to the plate is Maher. First pitch of this new at bat is off speed that breaks into the top of the strike zone, 0-1. This pitch almost gets Maher in the helmet, but he turns away just in time, 1-1. Third pitch of the at bat, slider that just misses down, 2-1. Down in the dirt, 3-1. Taking a peek at Mars' day, he does have a base hit and also has been hit by a pitch and has walked. He has scored twice. He's going to hustle down to first base here, thinking about going to 2 with that passed ball, but he will just hang on at first base with a walk. So Mars settles in at first base, likens the left fielder up to bat. Productive day for him as well. Sacrifice fly, RBI. He has walked, and he has also gotten a base hit. First pitch to Likens, ball 1-0. Second pitch, tried to get low and outside corner. Ump doesn't go for it, 2-0. Shaheen calls time, heading out to Medina to likely just have a quick conference to either talk strategy or just calm the nerves of the pitcher on the mound. So after that very brief conference, Shaheen jogging back to home plate. Likens will dig back in with a 2-0 count. This pitch swung on and missed. 2-1. Marr taking an extra lead there, but doesn't go anywhere. This breaking ball misses outside, 3-1. Marr's getting a little more adventurous there with his leadoff and secondary lead, but Medina is coming home with this pitch, misses low, ball 4. So after the fly out to center field, back-to-back walks mean runners on first and second for the Colt 45's, and they are trying to claw back those runs or claim back those runs, let's say, that they lost in the 7th inning. This pitch is hammered down the middle. George Smith scoops it up, but bobbles it, and he touched the bag, so that is an out. Unconventional, but it is an out. I thought he bobbled it and didn't have a play anywhere, but he picked up that ball just in time for the force at second base. So 2 down now in the inning. This one has popped up right behind me, 0-1. So yeah, that was a fielder's choice. Likens was out at second. Marr is now at third base. Let's update that score bug. Here you go. That will reflect the accurate situation. This is fouled, out of play down the first base line. 2-2, or 0-2. This one laced down the left field line, but it's going to be foul. That one went pretty far. That definitely looked like it had a chance to get out of here, perhaps, but thank goodness it was foul. Curveball in there gets him looking, strike 3. Dugout is hyped after that one. So bend but don't break for Medina and the Athletics in the top of the 8th. No runs for the Reading Colt 45's in the top of the 8th, as mentioned. And we're going to go to the bottom of the 8th with the Athletics looking to cash in some more runs and claw back into this one. Bottom of the eighth, Luke Shaheen, the catcher for the Athletics, coming up. Shaheen does have a base hit today and a sac fly for an RBI. Bowler still the pitcher on the mound. His first pitch to Shaheen is a ball. Second pitch in there for a strike. 1-1 is the count. On deck is Julian Rodriguez, and after that would be Gabe Cazares in the hole. This one's chopped to the shortstop, fielded over to first base in time to get Luke Shaheen out. So quick one out there for Shaheen, ground out to the shortstop, and Julian Rodriguez digs in here. He has walked today, but otherwise fly out and ground out. So he is looking for his first base knock of the day. Curveball in there, too high, didn't quite break enough or get back down in the strike zone, 1-0. This one is popped up in the infield on the right side. Who's got it? It's the first baseman, Mora, and that is 2 outs. And on schedule, no pinch hit moves or anything. It is the 9-hitter, Gabe Cazares, second baseman for the Athletics. 2 strikeouts and a walk for him today. First pitch to him, ball 1. Second pitch on the way up high in the zone, called strike. This one is hammered foul. 1-2 will be the count now. Taking a look at Bowler's stats in terms of pitches, he is now at 33 pitches so far. That one is a ball, 2-2, so let's make that 34 pitches. Cazares takes that one low, and the count fills up, 3-2. Curveball, half swing from Cazares, fools him, swing and a miss, and that is a strikeout. Good comeback at second inning there for Bowler, and he gets a goose egg on the board for the Athletics here in the bottom of the 8th. So they are still down 3 going into the top of the 9th, hoping to hold the Colt 45's and have their last at-bats with a chance to come back here. Back with the top of the 9th, first pitch from Medina gets away from Shaheen, breaking ball way outside, 1-0. And there is Coach Featherston getting into view there, grabbing that loose ball behind home plate. Second pitch in for another ball, 2-0. First batter of the inning here is Rogowski. He takes another one, 3-0. Very interesting as I'm looking at my scorebook. This is the third time for both the Colt 45's and the Athletics that they have ended innings with their 9-hole hitter and led it off with the top of the lineup. That was a 4-pitch walk there for Rogowski. So on the first base he goes. Here comes shortstop Carroll. First pitch into him. Medina finds his first strike of this inning, 0-1. Second pitch up and inside, 1-1. Carroll has himself a couple base knocks today, has scored once. That pitch called a ball, 2-1. Two one bounces in the dirt at Shaheen's feet, and Rogowski stays at first. Three and one pitch on the way, misses way upstairs, and that is going to be back-to-back walks to start out this inning. Nobody warming up down in the Athletics bullpen, but we'll wait and see because they certainly do not want to let this 3-run deficit balloon into something worse. Coach Ethan calls time, and he's heading out to the mound to have a talk with Medina. Home plate umpire heading out to the pitcher's mound to break things up here. But no need. They break up the party on the mound before he says anything. Shaheen back to home plate. Infielders still lingering around for a tiny bit longer. Now they're heading back. So 2 runners on base, no outs for Medina here, and the first baseman Mora up to bat. His first pitch he sees is a ball upstairs. Athletics certainly thinking double play here, and they got a chance at this as this is grounded to the third base. Sanders, and he does tag him out. He tags out the lead runner there. By his body language, it looked like he thought he didn't, but here comes the Reading coach to contest this one. For now, it's going to be runners at first and second with 1 out off of a fielder's choice, but we'll wait and see. Colt 45's coach heads back to the dugout disappointed with that decision, but he still has runners in on first and second, this time, though, with 1 out. D.H. Smith up to bat. This one gets by Shaheen to the backstop, and both runners are going to advance 90 feet. Well, thankfully, with that tag out at third base, for the athletics' sake at least, that would have been another run in, most likely, for the Colt 45's. 1-1's the count to Smith, and he swings through that one, make it 1-2. So with that pass ball, no double play is in effect, at least on the force out. So Medina is certainly looking to strike out. Ooh, that one gets away from him, but Shaheen catches it. 2-2 the count. Anyways, Medina and the Athletics will be searching for a strikeout here. Does a ball in play would most likely result in yet another run for the Colt 45's. This one swung on and just tipped foul. It'll remain 2-2. After that brief break with Shaheen getting the foul ball, he's back. The batter's back. Medina's back on the mound. 2-2 pitch once again is belted out to right field, but Rodriguez is under it, and that is caught. But that is going to be another run for the Colt 45's. Sack fly, RBI for Smith, and in to score is Carroll. On to third base is Mora, and the score is now 10-6. Big insurance run for them there. This one's chopped to Sanders at third base. He gets it, throws it on over to first base. Ethan Wood catches it on the bounce. Good play there defensively from the corner infielders. But the Colt 45's get another run on the board, and they are up by 4. Huge task coming up here for the Athletics to try and keep this game going. All right, fans, top of the ninth here. This is make it or break it time for the Athletics, down 4. But this is certainly the part of the lineup we want coming up to spark a comeback. George Smith leading things off here. First pitch, he hits it right back up the middle. That's going to be a base hit and the start of something good here. Oh, he is thinking about to, but he decides to go back to first. Leadoff single for George Smith brings up Tyson Miller. Pitcher on the mound is still Bowlerer for the Colt 45's. His first pitch to Miller is swung on and fouled into the seats 0-1. Second pitch is high in the zone, but hit over the shortstop. Wow, good piece of hit there. That was most certainly a ball, but he took that high and outside pitch where it needed to be and dumped it in between the shortstop and left fielder. Well, wouldn't you know it, the Athletics are trying to do it again. Back-to-back singles has Smith and Miller as runners on second and first. And those are both fast runners, so they will certainly be flying on anything in play. First pitch to Ethan Wood, taken down, ball one. Athletics dugout has juice in it again. They are in it. And Ethan Wood is most certainly a guy that's capable of extra base hits. Second pitch he sees, takes it for a strike, 1-1. Wood takes a hack at this one, goes back to the screen. Foul ball, 1-2. And Weller is stretching as he walks down to the bullpen. He's getting loose and ready for a potential 10th inning. There is action in the Colt 45's bullpen as well. 1-2 pitch to Wood is taken down low for a ball. 2-2. Energy is great at Chukchansi Park right now with both teams up on the railings. Wood swings and misses on that one outside. Strikeout for him and out number one of this inning. So now only 2 outs to work with. Well, 1 out only to work with actually for the Athletics as Parker Cristall, the DH, coming up to the plate. Let's go. Good start to the inning for the Athletics, but still a lot of work for them to do here. Double steal on George Smith down to third. Did he get him? Call is safe from the infield umpire, so that will be a successful double steal for the Athletics. Certainly don't blame them. It is make it or break it time. Bottom of the ninth, down 4. You want to get base runners close to the home plate. Calling that pitch to Cristall was a strike. Second one on the way, down, low and outside, ball 1-1. Colt 45 coach is complaining about the call there. Umpire signals to him that that pitch was down. Pitch way up high to Parker Cristall, 2-1. This ball is blasted out to center field, but it's going to be caught. We have an errant ball from the bullpen in the field of play right now, but thankfully it's not going to affect anything. George Smith is in to score, and Miller gets to third base off of that. So it is a sac fly. Sac fly RBI for Parker Cristall, and the deficit is down to 3, but there is no margin of error here for the Athletics. They're down to their last out. Mikey Romero's up to bat here, trying to keep things alive. First pitch onto him, outside, ball 1. Mikey Ramirez does have a 2 RBI single. He was a part of that 3-run 7th inning that got the Athletics back into this one. Pitch low in the dirt. Good block by the catcher. 2-0. Mikey taking his time getting back in the batter's box. Here comes the 2-0 pitch. It is a curveball. Did it hit him? No. It calls a strike. Man, that looked pretty close to hitting him, but perhaps that was just my angle of the angle of my view. Anyways, Mikey smiled there. I believe he wasn't in agreement with that call, but 2-1 is the count. Curveball, swing and a miss. 2-2. Colt 45's 1 strike away from calling it game here. Pitch on the way, up and out. Full count. Payoff pitch for the ball game here. On the way, it is chopped towards the second baseman. Should be routine. Throw on to first. It is. That is out number 3, and that is the ball game. Colt 45's take this one 10-7. That is the first loss of the season for the Athletics. And you got to say, this one was something that was sort of on them. There was a lot of runs that ended up scoring of balls getting past the catcher, whether it was wild pitches, whether it was past balls. And that has been a recurring theme for the Athletics over these past few games, but they have been able to get away with it in the last couple. Not tonight, though, as the Colts hang up 10 runs on the Athletics. 7 runs for the Athletics, not too bad, but it is not enough to get it done tonight. So 10 runs, 11 hits, 3 errors for the Colt 45's. As for the A's, 7 runs, 8 hits, and 1 error. But they will go home unsatisfied tonight as they end this homestand with a loss. But still with a very impressive 8-1 record to start things out here. Taking a look at the rest of this week, ladies and gentlemen, we have an off day tomorrow as we are traveling up to the Humboldt coast. We will be in Arcata, California to take on the Humboldt Crabs for a 3-game series Friday through Sunday. Time of those games, let me take a look at it for you for a second. Here we go. First game, Friday at 7 p.m. Second game at 6:30 p.m. That's Saturday. And then Sunday, it will be a 12:30 earlier matinee game. That way we can hit the road and get back on Sunday. So anyways, Athletics fall 10-7 here. Reading Colts get the win. And unsatisfied, but still somewhat satisfied with a great start to the year. 8-1 is their record now. Thank you to everybody who tuned into today's ball game. As always, thank you to the Fresno Grizzlies, the Colorado Rockies for allowing us to play at this beautiful ballpark in downtown Fresno. I'm Jarrett Smith, and we will see you on Friday.